Well, well, well. Gather round Royal Sussex squad, because once again Duchess Meghan has given the world a reason to talk, and we're here for it. So let's rewind to 2020, back when we were all stuck at home, trying to survive a global pandemic, baking banana bread, cutting our own bangs, and yes, experimenting with boxed hair dye. Turns out even the ever-elegant Meghan Markle had a moment of DIY desperation, like the rest of us mortals. But let me tell you, what came out of that hair mishap was not just a lesson in hair colour. It was a masterclass in grace, authenticity, sisterhood and entrepreneurship. In a recent episode of her podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, and shout out to everyone who's been tuning in because you know Meghan is out here dropping gems, our Duchess let us in on a hilarious and oh-so-relatable moment. She described how, during lockdown, she grabbed a box of drugstore dye and thought she'd get that soft, rich brunette look from the photo on the box. You know the one? The perfect bounce, the glow, the effortless glam. Instead, boom, inky, black, as in almost Elvira-esque black. Now let's pause here, because this right here is why people love Meghan. She didn't hide this story. She didn't act like she's always been flawless. No, she laughed about it. She owned it. Because real queens are secure enough to say, yeah, I messed up my hair and looked like a Halloween character, and what? This wasn't some PR-polished, airbrushed narrative. This was Meghan in her element, honest, down-to-earth and fun. She shared that moment not just for laughs, but to show how even a beauty blunder can lead to something beautiful. Enter Kadi Lee, the incredible woman who came to her rescue and turned that hair horror into a hair glow-up. Kadi is more than just a celebrity colorist. She's a businesswoman, a founder, and now a friend. And what did Meghan do? She didn't just thank her with a tip. She invested in her. Yes, Duchess Meghan invested in Kadi's brand, highbrow hippie, a woman-owned, Black and Asian-owned business with a fresh approach to beauty and wellness. Because that is what Meghan does. She turns connection into community and mishaps into opportunity. Now here comes the part that has some people clutching their pearls and others, like us, absolutely living. Cassandra Peterson, better known as the iconic Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, caught wind of Meghan's little joke on the podcast. And what did she do? She chimed in with a playful clapback on Instagram. "Hey, princess! If you ever need beauty advice from a queen, just let me know." Now listen, I know the internet can't help but try to pit women against each other. They want beef, they want drama, they want to twist every comment into shade. But let's be real, it was a joke, it was fun. It was two powerful women in on the same gag. Elvira wasn't throwing shade, she was shining a light. And let's be honest, how many people can turn a box dye fail into an international moment of female solidarity? Meghan didn't just mention a bad dye job, she uplifted a friend, a business, and created buzz that reached all the way to a horror icon's Instagram. But oh no. You know how some folks are. The same tired royal commentators who couldn't recognise a joke if it danced across their tea set are out here acting like Meghan insulted a national treasure. Give me a break. Meghan gave a shout-out to Elvira's aesthetic, an aesthetic that's supposed to be dramatic and over the top. She said she looked almost Elvira-esque, not almost Elvira mess. Let's not pretend Meghan said something scandalous. And more importantly, can we just acknowledge how refreshing it is to have a duchess who can laugh at herself? Because you know what the other side of the palace aisle was doing during the pandemic? Hiding away in castles, dodging accountability, and making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Meghan? She was rolling up her sleeves, supporting women-owned businesses, raising her babies, launching new platforms, and connecting with real people through stories that matter. And let's talk about Kadi Lee again, because this woman deserves her flowers. Not only did she save Meghan's hair, but she became part of the Sussex inner circle. And that connection wasn't transactional, it was transformational. Kadi went from stylist to friend to podcast guest to business partner. That's what happens when you empower women instead of competing with them. That's what happens when you share the spotlight instead of hoarding it. So now we've got Meghan, with her gorgeous sun-kissed hair, launching a hit podcast, investing in women, and yes, maybe receiving beauty tips from Elvira herself. Imagine the crossover. Meghan and Cassandra doing a glam video together, sipping some royal-approved tea, maybe throwing in some Archewell honey or bath salts. Call Netflix, call Lemonada, call somebody because the moment would be iconic. Elvira to Duchess Meghan. If you ever need beauty advice from a queen, let me know. Duchess Meghan was connected to celebrity colorist Kadi Lee in 2020, after Meghan had underwhelming results when trying out boxed dye during lockdown. She can make jam, keep bees, and has mastered the art of calligraphy, but the boxed dye stymied Mrs. Sussex. Hey, we can't be good at everything. Anyway, we learned this whole backstory last November when Meghan celebrated the launch of Kadi's highbrow hippie hair care line, another woman-run business Meghan invested in. At the time, Meghan said of Kadi, "I'm so proud to invest in her as a friend and as a female founder." That was well before we knew that Meghan's Lemonada podcast would be released in April and called Confessions of a Female Founder, or that Kadi would appear on the pod. During that April 22nd episode, Meghan again brought up her inglorious brush with boxed dye, calling her colouring attempt very inky, almost Elvira-esque black. Well, it's taken a month, but Cassandra Peterson, the real Elvira herself, caught wind of the comment and issued a response to Meg on Instagram. Cassandra Peterson, the actress behind the iconic Elvira character, playfully weighed in after Meghan joked about an at-home dye fail that left her looking almost Elvira-esque during the pandemic. The Duchess of Sussex shared the anecdote on a recent episode of her podcast Confessions of a Female Founder, recalling how a DIY hair job in 2020 turned her locks very inky, almost Elvira-esque black. "Hey, Princess, if you ever need beauty advice from a queen, just let me know," Peterson wrote in a post on Instagram under the handle @Elvira. Peterson, 73, posted a screenshot of the article to her Instagram alongside a signature glam shot of her in full character as the Mistress of the Dark. On her podcast, Meghan said that the hair mishap ultimately led her to connect with her current colorist and close friend Kadi Lee. The Duchess of Sussex shared that she met Lee through hairstylist Serge Normant, who styled her tresses for her 2018 royal wedding to Prince Harry. "He and I became friends after he did my hair for my wedding," Meghan said about Normant. "So my family had just moved to California. We were staying in our friend's home, and because it was the pandemic, I kept ordering boxed hair dye, and I thought, I'm going to look just like she does on the box. However, the DIY style didn't quite turn out like she imagined. Instead, it was this very inky, almost Elvira-esque black hair," Meghan said, in a relatable revelation, "and I texted Serge, and he said, 'You need to see Kadi.' And you came over. I mean, we were masked and all the things. It was such an interesting time, but I remember that day so well. From people will read this clapback from Cassandra in all sorts of ways, and they certainly are in the comments to the post. But my take is that it is all playful and in good faith. Cassandra saw an opening and took it. What's the worst that could happen? Either Cassandra continues her life as someone who has never had any direct contact with Meghan Sussex, or, what I think would be the smarter move, Meghan reaches out in some way, sends her a jar of honey, some bewitching bath salts, or invites her over to make a snazzy video of unloading a Tesla. There's opportunity here for a moment that would be PR gold for both ladies, is what I'm saying. Kind of like the way Meg and Gwyneth Paltrow deftly quashed those feud rumours. As for tress maintenance, I'm trying to think back into the murky void of that first year of the pandemic to remember when I started getting my hair cut coloured again. I definitely stretched out the visits longer than usual and went to a hole-in-the-wall, struggling salon I had stumbled upon near my friend's apartment where I was staying to take care of his rabbit. And no, that isn't a euphemism for anything. Everyone was masked the whole time, including myself, and the place was always sparsely attended. I was usually the only client there. I felt we were all taking safety precautions, and my heart went out to the small business. Happy to report that the salon is still open. The rabbit sadly is no longer with us. Let's take a beat here, Royal Sussex squad, because this story isn't just cute, it's telling. It tells us that no matter how much the tabloids want to reduce Meghan to gossip fodder, she keeps rising above. She's relatable without being performative. She's funny without being mean. and she supports other women without expecting applause. And to the haters? To the ones who want to dissect every syllable that comes out of Meghan's mouth, hoping for some scandal to latch onto, stay pressed, stay bitter. Meanwhile, Meghan is glowing, thriving, building and laughing, sometimes at herself but never at others, because real queens fix each other's crowns. And when Meghan needed a colour correction, she didn't panic, she connected, she built, she elevated. And that, my friends, is how a hair fail turned into a win for women, for business and for the culture. Now, if you loved that little tea spill, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Royal Sussex Squad family. We keep it real, we keep it respectful, and we ride for Harry and Meghan every single time. Don't forget to smash that super thanks button if you want to support the channel. We are community built, community powered, and we are just getting started. Until next time, stay sharp, stay kind, and stay loyal to the squad. Cheers.